Good evening. My name is Adrian Talley, and I am the superintendent of Indian Prairie School District. I would like to welcome you to our third Parent University. Tonight's presentation will focus on community resources available to assist families who are struggling as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our panel of guests this evening will provide you with information on where you can obtain resources for your specific needs. Whether you are new to Indian Prairie community or you have been here for a while, I am certain you will learn some new information tonight. Our panelists include Dr. Gina Bogin from Waubonsie High School, Miss Mary Boulos from Loaves and Fishes Community Services, Miss Kim White from the Career Networking Center, and Tariq Khondker from DuPage County Community Services. I'm excited to moderate the discussion this evening and welcome all of you. Before we get started with our discussion, let's allow our audience the opportunity to get to know each of you. Could each of you please introduce yourselves with your name, position in your organization, and share a little bit about your mission and the services you provide? Gina, we'll start with you, a warrior.
Yay, go Warriors. Hi, I'm Gina Bogin. I've been a social worker at Waubonsie for 25 years, 26 actually. I work with kids and I love it. And I work with families and try to connect them to resources.
Well, thank you very much. Ms. White, Kim White.
I should unmute myself. Good evening. My name is Kimberly White. I am the Executive Director of the Career and Networking Center. The Career and Networking Center's mission is to empower individuals to fulfilling employment. We've been around since 1996. I've been with the organization for 15 years, and we serve the unemployed, underemployed, those looking for a career change, or those seeking professional development. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Mary, will you introduce yourself?
Hello all, I'm Mary Boulos, the Associate Director of the CARES programs at Loaves and Fishes, and our mission is to end hunger and to promote self-sufficiency. So we provide food services and several other CARES programs that include emergency financial assistance, job search support, car programs, and I'll be able to share with you more on that a little bit later.
Thank you so much. And Tariq. Tariq, I'm sorry, forgive me.
No, you were closer the first time.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. My name is Tariq Khondker. I'm the Senior Research Coordinator at DuPage County Community Services, which is part of the DuPage County government and based out in Wheaton. I'm part of the team that works on DuPage Chris, which is our online resource database. The mission for which is to connect DuPage County residents and beyond to health and human services in the county and in the state of Illinois, and in fact, across the country as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of you for your introductions. Gina, I'd like to pose the first question to you. Can you tell us what resources are available for families and schools? And how do families access those resources?
Okay, within the schools, we have lots of resources. We have social workers, psychologists, guidance counselors, and of course we have our faculty and staff. And depending on what you need, if it's an academic need, a lot of our teachers are amazing about meeting with kids and supporting them. If it's emotional or mental health type of need, you can contact at the middle school and high school level, there are guidance counselors and social workers and psychologists. And at the elementary, there are social workers and psychologists. Please call if you need anything, because depending on the situation, we will connect families. So I did want to tell you that every building, the social workers have put up and other supports. I'm sharing with you a website from our building. This is just a website put together for helping with COVID and other issues that I'm constantly updating. So it changes, but it has lots of resources. One of the resources, I know the suicide one opening with that always people say, ugh, but to be honest, suicide is one of the major things we work with. And particularly now we are working with a lot of kids that are dealing with depression and anxiety. And we want to make sure that if somebody needs support, that number is right up there. You know, in the middle of the night, you can't reach us, but you can reach that line. We also have resources for services and then health. Our Indian Prairie itself has put together some parent webinars that the links to that are on here. Now this just came out today. That's why I say it changes. And Calm, which is a source for mental health. There's also the government. There are all sorts. I won't read you all, but if you can, this is a website that will help you locate various resources, because one of the things we do is connect people. It has all sorts of other things on there too. But if you need help, please call. And your first line of defense, as far as I'm concerned, is a social worker. Now, the guidance counselors would argue with me, but that's okay. You know, it's friendly argument. But please call if you need anything. We will connect you to the right place if we can. Okay. So every building has a social worker, a psychologist. Contact them if you need anything, because every family is unique. And we'll even help if you need outside resources. Like a lot of times people say, well, I don't know which therapist to go to. We'll meet the child, get to know them a little, and maybe make a recommendation based on that. Okay.
Thank you very much. What I heard you say is if you don't know about it, meaning if you as a social worker, you don't know that a child may need help, please call because you're there to help them, correct?
Yes, please call. In fact, I know lately we've been getting a lot of calls and people are always so nice and say, I'm so sorry to bother you. You're not bothering. That's what I'm here for. That's what everybody is there for. And I actually am thrilled when I get a kid that'll say, hey, can you help me? I'm so far behind. I'm stressed. Will you help me? Yes. Yes, because it's so much easier than finding out, you know, because I see it on an F or a D list. I'd rather contact us. If you have a question, I mean, sometimes we brainstorm, how do you handle a situation at home? You know, your kid won't get on remote. They go in their room and they start playing video games. Well, bring them down the kitchen. Let them log on where you can watch them. And those are the type of issues. We can work on anything. And if we can't, we'll get you to somebody that can.
Thank you so much, Gina. Appreciate that information. I'm certain we'll come back to you with another question or two. Mary, we are seeing an increasing number of families experiencing hardships. Can you talk about the various ways Loaves and Fishes supports our families?
Oh, absolutely. So first and foremost, we're here. Please know that you're not alone. If you're experiencing food insecurity or an emergency financial situation, please come to us at Loaves and Fishes. So prior to the pandemic, Loaves and Fishes assisted with families that are experiencing food insecurity in DuPage County. However, since the pandemic, we've expanded our boundaries, and now we can help all of our neighboring counties with the exception of Cook County. In addition to that, so we're open Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and our hours are posted on the website. It's also on the flyer that's going to be available to you after this meeting. So, and you can shop once every 7 days. You don't have to provide us, the only documentation that we ask that you provide is a photo ID and proof of residency. And then we can get you a permanent Loaves and Fishes card. And if you register to get that card, it also makes you eligible for other programs that we offer. The most prevalent one that we have going on right now in terms of food is the Thanksgiving food. So our first The first time that we're going to be giving out the holiday food is going to be tomorrow in our regularly scheduled food distribution. So that's going to be this coming Thursday, tomorrow, Saturday, and next Tuesday. So, and if you have that card, or if you don't, and you're a first-time visitor, just come in with your photo ID and proof of residence, and we can get you a card. And then not only do you get our pre-packed food that we distribute every week, but you'll also get that special holiday food. It's not pre-cooked. It's not the Thanksgiving meal, because there's been some discussion about that too. So we're giving you the makings of the meal. In addition to that, just wanted you to be aware that, you know, if you're experiencing something else outside of the food, actually, before I leave food, please know that right now the model we're utilizing is the drive-through model, so we can exercise proper social distancing. And when people sometimes hear, oh, pre-packed food, or oh, it's a pantry, they think like canned goods and that's it. And that's not what we do. We give good quality, healthy food. So by all means, we're here. Please come and utilize our services. Also, aside from food, we provide other services such as emergency financial assistance. So if you live in Naperville Township, the DuPage side of Aurora, and you're experiencing a financial hardship, we ask that you please give us a call. You just call the main number and then choose option 4, or you contact us through our email, which again, all that information will be available on the flyer after the meeting. And we're here to help. We'll give you guys a call back and do an intake with you and see how we can help. And most recently, actually today, DuPage County launched a portal for a very generous grant for people that have been negatively impacted by COVID. So if there is a financial hardship that resulted from COVID, whether it's your school child's daycare shut down and you're forced to stay at home to look after them, if you're experiencing a reduction in hours, loss of job, or if you had COVID and you have medical expenses as a result and you're experiencing a financial hardship, we're able to help through that grant. So I will make that link available to you guys. And again, that's for DuPage County residents. And there has to be a financial impact due to COVID in order to qualify for that grant. And what happens is Loaves and Fishes is not the only organization that participates in this. It's several different non-for-profit organizations around DuPage County that are participating in dispersing these funds. So even if you don't live in our service area, which is Naperville Township, DuPage side of Aurora, but you do live in DuPage County, go visit that portal, fill out that application, and it's going to get you to an organization that can walk you through the process. In addition to that, prior to the pandemic, we're able to provide several different things for through public benefits. We were able to do SNAP and Medicaid. However, those two things are on hold right now due to the pandemic, and we have restarted our LIHEAP program. So that's a program, for those that are not familiar, for people that need assistance with their utility bills. So you can get those appointments, you know, at the county, at Naperville Township, Lisle Township, your local township, but you can also get it through us at Loaves and Fishes if you're a current client. Another program is VITA. So that stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. That's a program where you can be anywhere in Illinois. So at this point, we're not talking just about DuPage County, right? Anywhere in Illinois, if your income is equal to or less than $60,000 gross per year, you can come to us. So our program will start February 1st of 2021, if you need help with filing your taxes. Finally, we also have our CAR program, which is very popular. And basically what you need to know about that is, in order to get started, you need to contact us and let us know who you need a referral. You would need to let us know who is going to be the person who's going to complete the referral for you. And it needs to either be an employer or a DuPage County caseworker. So this program is open to DuPage County residents, must be 21 years of age or older. There cannot be another car in the household, or if there is and it's just not doing well, it's on its way out, at the time that you get on the car waiting list, we would ask that you would either donate the car or sell it. There are some other criteria, such as, you would have to go through financial fitness courses at Home DuPage, one of our partners. They provide budget and credit workshops, and they also provide 3 one-on-one counseling sessions for financial fitness. What else? Oh, you would also, of course, need to be employed, because the mission of the CAR program is to help people become self-sufficient, right? So we want to make sure that you're employed and you have a way to maintain that car and be able to provide for yourself or for your family. So employment is important. And if you're not currently working, because we understand that's a struggle for many during a pandemic, we just want to know that you're actively seeking employment and that there was a recent work history. You also need to be able to pay about $600 is our estimate for title transfer and for car insurance for when that car is ready for you. Want to make sure that you're ready to go, so you have that $600 set aside for those expenses. That's the gist of it.
That sounds wonderful. I want to just ask you a clarifying question.
Yes.
We have about 46% of our students in Indian Prairie who live in Will County. So am I right to say that even though they live in Will County, they could have access to the food pantry and everything that's there, correct?
That is absolutely correct. And I would like to add, Dr. Talley, that they can, if they need emergency financial assistance, because if you just get a referral from your school district, from your social worker, we'll still be able to help you. So we may not be able, the amount we help with may not be a great amount, because a lot of the grants that we use are specific to our small service area of Naperville Township. However, we're ready and willing to assist clients that have families outside of DuPage County. It just depends on how big the request is. We're willing to work with.
That's wonderful. So I'll just make sure they all know, give Loaves and Fishes a call, and then they can help you and work with you to try to solve the issue, or let you know where to go. That's wonderful.
Right. And a key point is to also contact the social worker to get that referral from the social worker. You got it.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Kim, the Career Networking Center is focused specifically on job search resources. Can you tell us how you are delivering services during the pandemic?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. First, I want to say we are the only not-for-profit agency in the western suburbs that strictly focuses on job search. So we partner with a lot of other nonprofits in the community to provide job search services for their clients. We're the only nonprofit agency that's all that we do strictly. The Career Networking Center, just to give you just a high level of what we do, and the offerings that we have, we provide one-to-one coaching for folks who are, again, unemployed, underemployed, seeking to change careers, looking for development. We provide accountability groups, so it's a job search work team where we actually bring clients in, or we don't bring anyone in right now, but clients meet virtually, and we help to keep them accountable in their job search. We have webinars that focuses on our core curriculum. And our core curriculum consists of resume writing, mock interviewing, the job search strategy, branding, interviewing, LinkedIn, and career exploration. When the pandemic hit back in March, like everyone else, we had to quickly pivot and turn our complete program into a virtual offering. And so we were able to do that. We left the office on March 14th, And by Monday morning, we were completely virtual. Now, none of us on the team slept over the course of that weekend, but we got everything transferred into that virtual space. And when you look at what happened back in March, everything shut down, companies were laying off. We knew we needed to make sure that we were available for folks who were going to need us on Monday morning, because people were hearing that they were going to get laid off. So we quickly converted into a virtual resource. All of our one-to-one appointments, we have over 30 volunteers that meet one-on-one with our clients. All of those are virtual. All of our workshops are virtual. All of our accountability sessions are virtual. And so we are able to meet our clients exactly where they are. So any help that folks need as it relates to job search. And I want to also just share this. Being in this space, people think or make an assumption, how can I get a job during this pandemic? And I just want to share that we have seen our numbers in terms of our clients landing has been unbelievable. I mean, I have to tell you, as a director, I was even surprised at the number of our clients that are landing. And this is just the clients that we're hearing from. So companies are hiring. I just met with a panel of executive recruiters and HR folks, and they were telling me that they are on Zoom calls, and they are actually finding clients within the call. So if you have an opportunity to get on some of these networking calls, show up, make sure you're ready, you're prepared. You never know who's on the other side of that Zoom call listening in and may reach out to you afterwards for an opportunity. So I think, the message I want to convey is don't be discouraged. There are jobs out there. Companies are hiring. Industries will pick back up. And so I would just encourage folks to continue to do what they can to look for work. So hopefully that answered your question. I'll maybe share more if you need to.
I would imagine interviewing in the pandemic is most difficult. I would think it would take a certain skill set to be able to interview and come across in a Zoom meeting in a different way than in person. Is that something that you're speaking to clients about?
Absolutely. We actually do workshops just around Zoom interviewing. And I tell you, a great question, Dr. Talley. I will tell you that once you have submitted your application and you have been vetted and now they are bringing you in for an interview, you need to make sure you're spot on. Interviewing in a Zoom space without meeting your potential employer in person is very difficult. So it's not even about just showing up and being prepared to answer the questions, but what does your space look like? Because now they are looking at that as well. So you want to make sure, if you're using a Zoom background, is that an appropriate background that you're using? You want to make sure your sound is right. You need to test everything ahead of time. Don't just show up and say, oh my gosh, I have issues with my computer, or I have, you need to be prepared. So yes, absolutely. You need to, in this environment, that Zoom interview, once you've been vetted, and you've been brought in for that interview, you better make sure you're ready to go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll come back and ask you a few more questions. I want to bring Tariq into the conversation now. You have a wonderful tool for people to use, and I understand you have a brief demo for us this evening.
Yes, I do actually. Thanks, Dr. Talley. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to start with the small demonstration.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Let me just see if I got this right. So if I'm not mistaken, you should be able to see the DuPage Chris resource database homepage.
Yes.
I'm not sure how many of you are actually familiar with this website or if you've used it before, but this is an online database. This is really a website that's free to use for the community. Although it is primarily geared towards DuPage County, it does not restrict you from using it or availing of it if you live outside of DuPage County. But that's the minimum requirement for when we actually include a provider in here as a record. So what I want to do is I just actually walk through how to use the website itself. So the first thing you see when you go online is this guided search page. Oftentimes, the audiences that we cater to, they know what they need help with, but they just don't know where to go. So when you come over here, you take a look at all these broad categories, whether it be housing, food, disaster services, mental health, etc., education support. You can click in any one of these and it takes you to a secondary level. That means it takes you a subcategory of terms. So if I just clicked on education, so you see adult education, early childhood, ESL, etc. I just go back, and if I clicked on food, and we were talking about loaves and fishes just a minute ago, you can click into food and you see food pantries and vouchers, food stamps, meals served, senior meal programs, etc. So this is really the best way to go about looking for services that you need. So for instance, if I was looking for housing expense assistance, I could click on housing and utilities, and then I look at housing expense assistance. When I click on that category, that's when it takes me to these are the results. So I get 23 results for housing expense assistance on DuPage Chris, and each of these are service records. All service records, they are aesthetically the same, they look the same, and the way they organize the information is also the same. And what we follow are the standards that are put forth by AIRS, which is the Alliance for Information Referral Systems. That's the sort of the governing body for databases such as ours, but also used by 211s across the country and Canada, as to how they organize their databases, these informational databases. So I just clicked on the city of Aurora. This is just an example. You see that I can click on this plus sign right here next to about this provider, and that gives you a sort of a bird's eye view. So it just gives you basic information. Right here, you have the address, you have the phone number, and when you scroll down, you have a brief description of what they do. You have the hours of operation. You have the intake process. I probably should use another example for the intake process to give you a better idea. Program fees, languages that the services are provided in. One important thing to remember here, we don't specifically mention English, making a safe assumption that almost all services are at least provided in English. So any other services other than English, we try to mention it here if we know about it. You scroll down, you have phone numbers, fax numbers, and then you have these. These are the primary services that are covered by that service provider. One of the things, I want to go back here, one of the things to remember is that any given service provider could have multiple records on DuPage Chris, depending on the services they provide, but more importantly, their location. For example, the city of Aurora or the city of Burridge or village of Burridge might have multiple resource records on DuPage Chris based on what services they provide and where they're located physically. So say for example, if you can also use the keyword search option down here. But one thing that's important to remember, the keyword search doesn't exactly work like a search engine on the internet, like a Google or Bing. It doesn't work that way. It thinks within the database itself. So if I were to look for seniors, and I hit search, it'll give me everything that the database has on seniors. So it'll just do a search for that keyword that'll show up. So it might not always be the best way to go. The best way to go always is through the guided search. I also want to draw your attention to the top right here. And this is where you can actually, and you click on my account, you can actually open an account to DuPage Chris for free. It doesn't charge you anything. It's a public resource. But one of the advantages of having your own account is that you can keep tabs on the resources that you need. So for example, you might be someone who needs various resources. It's not just, oh, I'm a homeless person and I need housing. I need help with housing. But you might also have these other needs as well. Oftentimes, health and human services are all intertwined. It's not like one separate, isolated thing and then everything in your life is good. Oftentimes you need multiple different things. in order to get yourself, in order to stand on your own feet. So one of the things, advantages of having your own account is you can create your own resource groups. So I'm going to click on manage my resource groups right here. And here I can actually create a resource group. It doesn't matter what the resource group is. It could be very customized to what I need. So I can click on create a new group. I can name it whatever I want. I'll call it, I could call it education support. Doesn't matter what it is. And then I can save that group. And then what I can do, I can go back to the home page. I can say I'm looking for a particular resource. I'm looking for ESL classes. So I click on ESL and I see, oh, Addison Public Library has ESL classes. Good. So I've clicked in the record. Then I scroll down. Right here, you see resource groups. So remember, we just created a resource group. So I can click on the down arrow, choose the resource group that I just created, and click add. So that helps me consolidate my searches. So next time I log into my account, no matter if it's from my phone, it's at the library, at work, or my personal computer, I can just go back to my searches and see, all right, these are my groups. These are the providers that I want to keep tabs on. One of the things that is also useful to remember is that DuPage Chris is not really a creator of information. It's really a curator of information. The information we have on the database is only as good as the information that's available to us. And it can only get better. It's exponential to the cooperation we have from the service providers. So every year, at least once a year, we reach out to the provider partners that we have, asking them to review their information, let us know if there are any changes required, etc., any updates. And then one of the two ways that you can do that, if you're a service provider, say you have a record on Chris, so Loaves and Fishes, for example, let's just see. So you would log into your account. I'm going to look for Loaves and Fishes. I hit search. So I see Loaves and Fishes Community Services. I click that. So if, for example, I was Mary in this case, so I would look through this information. I'll click out about this provider. I try to take a look to see, all right, the hours are fine, hours of services, program fees. Okay, well, this needs to change. The phone number this is an old one. You scroll down, you look at these primary services. You can also click on the primary services themselves. If any of the details are specific to those services in question, they would be outlined here. And this is an ongoing process. So if you want to make changes to any of these, you go right over here in the bottom right corner of the record. You can click on report updated information. That takes you to this page. And then you can let us know if anything's changed at all. So you enter the new information, you scroll down, you hit submit record. What that happens is that gets submitted to the back end for us to assess and then update your record for you so that it's up to date. So create an account as a user in the community, a regular user in the community who's not a service provider, helps you keep tabs on the services you need. As a service provider, it allows you to update your information, keep tabs on your own information, or if you don't see yourself, you can add yourself as a new record, meaning you submit your information as an organization that will assess your information based on our inclusion policy. If you're good to go, we create your record for you. It's difficult. DuPage Chris, I could talk for a good 40 minutes about how you can use this and the different scenarios and different examples, but that's just sort of like a bird's eye view. Before I finish, I do want to draw your attention to the top. A couple of things that might be useful is you see the events tab here. So you click on events, and that gives you a community calendar sort of. I always click on agenda. That's the best view. And so that gives you an idea of what's going on in the community. There might be things here that are of interest to you or your clients or yourself or your organization. You also have the news section right here. So Mary just mentioned, for example, the new funds, the COVID-19 housing expense funds, for example. So we just created an article, I think earlier today, and that's right here. So you can get information about it here as well. So yeah, it's there are a few things you can do. Because we're a public entity, our inclusion policy is public information. Inclusion policy tells you who can actually get into CRIS, what sort of records we create, what information we cannot curate on the database, and why not. So that information is here for your perusal. You can also contact us if you have any questions. You can also call us. One of the numbers you can call actually is intake and referral, which is the team that we work alongside with, which is intake and referral at Community Services at DuPage County. You can call them at 630-407-6500. Their information is also on DuPage Chris. You can find them there as well. But yeah, that's sort of DuPage Chris in a nutshell.
Tariq, this is truly an amazing site. It's a cornucopia of resources available for our community. I do want to ask you a question I asked similar to Mary. We have people who live in Will County and DuPage County. Is this only available to DuPage County or is it open to anyone?
Dr. Talley, that's a good question. It is really open to anybody. The minimum requirement for a service or a resource to be on DuPage Chris is that your services or resources are available to DuPage County residents. That does not mean that anybody outside DuPage can't avail of it. So there are resources here that are open to multiple counties, the entire state of Illinois. There are even resources here that are available to anybody in the country. They just might have like a local chapter, but they have no limitations in terms of where you're from. So no, short answer is no, you don't have to be in DuPage County in order to avail of the resources that are curated here.
Wonderful. Thank you again. This is just one-stop shopping, and I really appreciate it. And I think our community, our parents, our families will find this tool to be quite useful. I want to get to some audience questions that we received. Gina, we've had a question regarding mental health resources for students. Could you talk a little bit about what you recommend if a family is trying to get some type of mental health support for their child, or a child is looking for this for him or herself? What are the recommendations? What's out there?
Well, the first step is call your social worker, because we have lots of resources that if we can't help you with the problem, we can try to connect you with. But a lot of issues we can work in schools, and every school has slightly different programs, but the basics are we do run groups for kids to help them. Like right now, running a lot of social thinking groups and groups with kids' anxiety, and trying to help them with that. And it's interesting because my anxiety groups from in person are all doing great and remote. And then I have a bunch of these kids that are now new anxiety kids because remote is hard for them. But it's pretty funny that the kids that were so anxious in person are actually doing very well. So you don't see that kids all across the board are reacting the same way. But so we tailor groups to what the needs are. So like at any given moment, I might have a different group going because we might have a need for something and we start a group. We also do a lot of individual. If you have if you're really, really worried about your child, the hospitals will do, if you're worried about something as serious as suicide or self-harm, the hospitals will all do free assessments. We can, when we're in school, we do assessments. We can do assessments on Zoom, but it's really, if it's that, we're going to refer you probably to go for a free assessment. There's a lot of body language and things you need to see in person when assessing. So we are some limit. We do meet kids in school. But, you know, I went in the other day to meet with a young man that just doesn't like Zoom at all. So fine. We'll meet and we use PPE. We will connect you with outside. If you're looking for outside services, we will connect you with those depending on what you need. Different therapists specialize in different things. So we'll try to actually match your child's needs, child's personality with hopefully somebody we know in the community. The district has a wonderful resource called Referral GPS that we can also use if you're very limited by insurance. If you have a certain type of insurance, we can plug that in and it will tell us who takes that. So we are there to help you with outside referrals as well as within. And within school, we have a lot of resources. You know, the academics handle one end, the mental health, we handle it. We will talk to kids. We'll talk to parents about issues. We, as I mentioned before, it's not just social workers, although they are the best, in my opinion, but we do also have psychologists and guidance counselors who are wonderful and will help. So please, well, we can't help you if we don't know the problem. So give us a call. You're not bothering us. You're making us feel worthwhile. So please call. We like when we get calls.
Gina, if a parent has a child who is having an issue that's not related to school,
Mhm.
it could be any number of things. It could be a dating issue,
Yeah,
assault, any of those things. Those are things that you will also deal with and or make referrals to private organizations or things like that to help a family. Is that correct?
absolutely. I mean, we try to help wherever we can. I mean, I laugh when you say the dating because one of my fun memories was helping a boy ask a girl to homecoming.
Mhm.
And we actually had a group and we role played it and, you know, to help him. So it doesn't have to be a big, serious, deep problem. It can be those things that stress us that are, you know, maybe not as big. We're not always, thank goodness we're not dealing with suicide stuff all day long. That's, you know, but yeah, we will help with all of that and help with things like, you know, my kid came home drunk the other day. What do I do? You know, we will work with pretty much the model we have is called be flexible, handle whatever comes your way, and we'll try to help you. If we can't, we'll try to connect you with the resource so that, you know, some things we can't, we are limited because of our caseloads and the number of children. So we can't do certain things. And then we may refer you out because we know somebody else could do that for you better. But, you know, just ask. If we can't do it, we'll tell you. And if we can, we'll do it. So don't be afraid.
The holidays coming upon us, any resources that families might want to think about to help them through this period of time?
We have a lot of programs going throughout the district. And because we have such a wide range of populations in our district, different schools may have different programs, but the elementary has a gift mart, middle school has a book, Angels, and at Waubonsie, we have a holiday elf program. Um, I have a bad sense of humor. It gets me in trouble. So that's why we call them the elves. But, and this is clubs and teachers sponsoring children. But this year we were really in trouble because a lot of our clubs aren't running at full mast. And we've had a couple community, we partner with the Big Love Church and the Naperville Presbyterian, and we're getting our kids covered. It's hard sometimes, but if you have a need, let us know because we will call your related social worker at your home school, but we will try to help and get, if we can't do it within the building, we'll try to get you connected with the right services and supports. It is a different year, and these community members have been my angels because we have more need and more difficulty because some of our big teams that do a lot of big sponsoring aren't running. So we will find a way. That's my motto. We'll just find a way. I can't always give an answer up front because I don't know how we're going to solve it. I just know we will. And that's kind of how I feel. Some of the ways we solve things are unique and creative. Sense of humor helps.
Always, always. Mary, I know Loaves and Fishes, it does work with other agencies and you get referrals. Can you just talk a little bit more about the agencies with whom you work and also district referrals or referrals from the school district? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our relationship with the school districts is a newer one. It's gotten stronger during the pandemic, and it's been great because we've been able to reach more families that way and provide the services that are very much in need, especially at this time. So we just ask if you're having any trouble, emergency financial assistance, COVID related or not, reach out to your social worker like Gina, let them know what kind of trouble you're having, and they can direct you to us or to the appropriate organization. So at Loaves and Fishes, we also partner with other faith organizations. Usually we have, there's St. Vincent de Paul Society. They're in most Catholic churches. You do not have to be a parishioner in order to seek their assistance. And we partner with them often in order to complete packages. And this is all to help. The mission with emergency financial assistance is to help prevent homelessness. So we help primarily with rent and with utilities. Just as an FYI, for in case you did not know, evictions are on hold until the end of this year. But that does not mean that your rent is not due, that your mortgage is not due, that your association fees are not due, utilities are not due. And that's why we're still here. We're very active. We're very busy, busier than usual, and we're ready and willing to help. So we want you, if you're already in arrears or if you're trying to be proactive to make sure that you're able to stay up on your bills, this is what we're here for. And we partner with, to go back to your original question, so faith organizations, and we also partner with other social services agencies. If the need is so great that we're not able to complete an entire package on our own, we work with other agencies, social service agency, not-for-profit, such as People's Resource Center, or with DuPage County, to help us meet the need that's out there. Does that answer your question?
It does, and it leads me to a question for Kim. Kim, I'm thinking you partner with other agencies as well and take referrals from them. Can you talk about that? And then a second question is, um, um, you work with all age groups, from people who are just graduating from high school to those who are changing careers, I would imagine, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, to answer your first question around referrals, so I will say this, we live in an amazing community full of an incredible number of social service agencies that provide resources in every area you can possibly imagine. And again, being the only agency that strictly focuses on job search, we make sure that these other agencies are aware of who we are and what we do. So we work with Loaves and Fishes, for instance. We have a process with them. If they have some clients that they would prefer to come to us and may need additional assistance, we absolutely welcome them. We also work with domestic violence shelters, homelessness shelters, faith-based groups as well. So we cover the gamut in terms of those partnerships. In order to answer your second question, we do. If you are of workforce age, so 18 basically to 70, if you will. Some people are still working at 70. We can assist you. Now, what some of the things that we do in terms of our younger demographic, for instance, I was just serving on a panel with the Live Center. We've done work where we've provided resume assistance to help folks create that very first resume. Oftentimes with our younger generation, they will say, well, I've just done some babysitting, or I've done some lawn work. We can help create a resume actually out of that. And so it's really important, especially for young folks, as you're starting to apply for school, graduate or college. It's important to have that resume in place, or your first job right out of high school. So you want to make sure that you have that resume. We've done some work with schools where we've actually come into the classroom, and again, did some mock interviewing or assistance with those other things in terms of folks looking for work.
Yeah, resume writing is never an easy task to do. I think too many times we don't uplift the work work we're doing because we don't think it's that important. And
Yeah,
so I appreciate what you said there about mowing the lawn, babysitting. All of that is important things. Taking care of a home as a homekeeper.
yeah.
All of those things are very important. There's skills that you do there, correct?
Absolutely. There are so many skills that you could pull out of that, out of all those roles. And so you really want to focus on that. I think oftentimes too, when people are applying for work, you obviously, in most cases, you have those hard skills that employers are looking for. But we also want to pull out those soft skills as well. What's your leadership? How do
Mhm.
you work? How well do you work with other people? So we actually provide soft skills training at the center for clients that are looking to enhance those and be able to share that information with employers. But absolutely, in everything that you do, there are skills that you can pull out. I remember talking to a young person who made the comment about, well, I just cut grass. Well, do you show up on time? Are we able to put that on there? That's very important. Time management is very important for employers that are looking to hire. So there's definitely things that we can pull out.
Wonderful. So we have just a few more minutes left. Gina, I have one last question for you. If parents are saying that they'd like to do something to build their parenting skills, because there is no real book about being a parent. You learn it as you do it. Is that something that they could also come to a social worker and be given some advice and help on?
Right. We work a lot with parents and things like right now. And actually, Lisa brought this question up earlier. Parents are wondering, how do I get my kid to still have fun while we're remote? And so I said, well, what I would suggest is plan some things just like sometimes you do with shyer kids. Plan a movie night, set up a Zoom where the friends can watch a movie and talk to each other about it. Plan simple games like Tenzi or Yahtzee, where all you need is some dice and kids can have their own set of dice and they can play and they can be zooming and playing. Have the kids look at the high school levels, look at the clubs. We still have a lot of clubs running. And so those are Zoom activities that they can do and things that they can get together with other kids. Um, it's just getting them to encourage them to set up a meeting with their friends. Video games, oh my goodness, get them to I know when I say that it's bad because too many of them are on too much, but it is a good idea. Let them to play video games with their friends, not during school hours, not during classes, but have them play that. And I was told that there's a Uno game you can play online too. I mean, like I was just told that a couple hours ago, and I'm like, really? I have to get that because kids love playing that. So set things up just like you would encourage your kid to invite somebody. Set up, like I said, movie nights can be fun. We've had a wicked game of tensies. Make sure people don't cheat. Yeah, some of my friends. But you have to be very, very, that's such an easy thing to set up. So any problems like that, we can brainstorm ideas with the parents anytime. And that's kind of fun actually to do.
It appears as if Tariq was raising his hand about the Uno online. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just got a little bit excited with the video games because as much as video games can sap your time, I'm a huge proponent of using it for socially positive causes.
Yeah.
You can
Right.
certainly do that. I've been playing Uno for years and years and years. So yeah, absolutely, I'm a big fan.
That may have to be another parent university for us down.
Absolutely, put me down for it right now.
So
And
I want to give
conquering.
you a moment just to provide any last words about your organization or for the community. And I'm not going in any particular order, but I do want to give you just a moment to sort of think about this. So I'm now going to go to Kim.
All right. And I had already unmuted. Something told me you were going to come to me first. So. Thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to speak around the Career Networking Center. Again, the one thing I would like for everyone to really take away is don't be discouraged in this space. There are so many resources in our community that can help you in just about, again, with just about anything that you need. You reach out to any one of us on this call or any other social service agencies, we can direct you to where you need to be. So don't be discouraged. And this is, this is a challenging time for all of us, including myself. But the other, the other takeaway is, I would say, especially in this new virtual world, is you need to embrace the technology. You need to embrace this new Zoom space. This is how things are going to happen. I even think moving forward, so many businesses, organizations, companies are going to really be providing a hybrid model in how they work and move forward. So don't say, I'm going to wait until we're out of this pandemic, because I'm telling you, we're still going to be in this virtual space doing stuff in a hybrid model. So act now. Reach out to us at the Career Networking Center for any of your job search needs. Our website is careernetworkingcenter.org. I know that they're going to be sharing some information with all of you after this as well. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Mary, I'll go to you next.
Yeah. Thank you again for this opportunity, Dr. Talley in District 204. I do want to circle back to the CAR program really quick. For anybody who is interested in the CAR program, just remember the first step is that you would contact us, either by calling us or by sending us an email. Let us know who is going to be the person doing your referral. Again, whether it's your employer or a DuPage County caseworker, give us their name, who they are to you, and give us their contact information, phone number and email address, because then we reach out to them on your behalf, let them know that Mr. So-and-so has expressed interest in our CAR program. They said you would complete a referral for them. Then we share the criteria with them, and we also share our referral guidelines so they know what to put in the referral to really advocate for the client and say why this is a good candidate for our CAR program. And again, I like to echo what Kim already said, that there are resources out there for any need that may come up. So even if you reach out to Loaves and Fishes for a service that we do not provide, we are more than happy to look into what other resources are out there. We're frequent users of DuPage Chris, so we're able to hook you up, and if you're not in DuPage County, we're able to hook you up with resources in your county as well. So just remember that you're not alone.
Thank you, Mary. Gina?
I want to say, first of all, thank you. It's been fun to talk to people, but I wanted to also say, take care of yourselves, because it's really important that there are some nice things about being home, and there's some nice things about life slowing down a little, and take and appreciate that too, because there are some good things that have come out of this, and we have to look at that, because otherwise it gets too overwhelming. So take time. Part of what I throw up on that resource thing, some of the pages are things for fun, coloring, puzzles, mindfulness, yoga. Take time, take a walk, relax. Moving is very helpful. But I really worry that we spend too much time sitting on Zoom. Make sure you get up and move and do something for yourself. And call us if you need something.
Thank you so much. Tariq?
Well, I really can't. Everybody said it so well. These are all positive messages I can echo. But first of all, on behalf of DuPage County, thank you so much, Dr. Talley, for having me here to speak about DuPage Chris. Once again, DuPage Chris, it's an ambitious endeavor, but it's only as good as the cooperation from the provider partners that we have, and it's only as good as the information that's out there. So the better we can get the word out, the stronger DuPage Chris can be. It's really it's a sort of like a melting pot of, or sort of like a basket of all these different services and all the great work that everybody does in DuPage County and beyond. So it's just really the objective is to have people find what they're looking for in an easy way, user friendly fashion, as opposed to navigating what could be a very daunting and intimidating process, especially when you're in need and 2020 has been a desperate year on so many different levels. So our objective is to make it easier, to make it simpler, to reach out and to get the help you need. There's so many different places where you can go that we just don't know about. So communication is key, cooperation is key. We're only as strong as our weakest link.
Thank you so much. Well, this has been a most informative discussion. Thank you all for joining us this evening to provide your expertise to our community. For our viewers, I hope you have found this session helpful. We will post a link to tonight's video on our website, as well as available resources from our panelists. Thank you for joining us. And again, thank you to our panelists. Have a great evening.